Real-time strategy games were part of my childhood. Command & Conquer, StarCraft, Age of Empires, Empire Earth, Homeworld. These were all great games in their times. And then something happened. Outside of reboots, RTS games just began to tread water, and FPSs and simulators accelerated ahead. It's been a really long time since I've enjoyed playing any RTS, and that brings us to Call to Arms, Gates of Hell Ostfront. All of my videos to date have been focused on flight simulators, but this game I have found to be very interesting, yet no one seems to be talking about it. I really felt the need to actually make a video on behalf of this game because it's just simply an interesting game and it deserves attention. Additionally, as a primarily sim player that isn't a hardcore RTS player, I thought I could bring a unique point of view to give this game a fair review. As always, if this is your first time here, this channel focuses on multiplayer sim gameplay, so if you're into that, please subscribe. There are 3 compelling reasons why Ostfront is worth looking into if you're a sim fan, a World War II enjoyer, or if you just like interesting video games. At a high level, this game is very similar to War Games, European Escalation, or Company of Heroes. It is a real-time World War II strategy game that centers around the concept of curating troops based around a resource cost, and then trying to win out with your select troops. Playing the balance between investing your resources into troops that let you be more proactive on the attack, or more reactive on the defense makes for a constant thinking session in your head. Here's an example of me advancing too far without armored support, and my opponent being reactive by having a flame tank, and driving me off in a Stalingrad PvP match. The game offers 3 avenues for play. My favorite is the Conquest campaign, which is a campaign that is oriented around a campaign that you wage with an army that you build over time. There is manpower and technology modeled into this, and you dedicate your resources into building out an army in a certain way to assist you throughout the campaign. You take turns in attacking and defending the AI, and you can play this as co-op, and has been a lot of fun. Trying to decide if you should get better infantry, bigger anti-tank guns, or more capable tanks. All are part of the decision-making tree, and it has been nice to try to work with friends in co-op campaigns to come up with the best strategy based on our needs. There are some mods like Enhanced Conquest mod that take this game to the next level, which really adds a lot more difficulty to the campaign. So much that these missions, I've even lost myself playing against the AI. Here's an example where I misinvested our resources into artillery pieces, and we got zerged by a large Russian armored force. Because they nearly overwhelmed our position, I had to revert to Molotov cocktail attacks by using infantry. Over time, they slowly wore us down as we ran out of anti-tank munition, and eventually were just completely overwhelmed. Things like, and we'll get into this later in the video, but things like ammo and inventory are modeled in this game. The game also has scripted missions you can play through, which are fun, but for me get a little repetitive because single player is not really my jam. The nice thing is that you can play these as co-op with friends, and it can be quite fun because you can divvy up resources to play. But as this channel is mostly focused on multiplayer, then what we really want to know about is PvP. The game offers straightforward PvP matches that can be fun, and the thing is, this game has a very large modding community, and that's sort of led to a fragmentation of the population. I've personally found it a little tricky to find games at all hours in the day, so we've been playing in-house games on our Discord. A little bit tricky, but it is the nature of having a fleshed out mod scene, and this game flying a bit under the radar. It is surprising though how well the mods are, so much that they have whole countries modeled, and it can really add a lot of variety to the game. Countries like France, Britain, US, Japan, Poland, etc. are all modeled with these mods. According to Wikipedia, which is the pseudo source of truth for the internet, simulation video games describe a diverse super-category of video games generally designed to closely simulate real-world activities. So with this definition in mind, I would say that this game is a surprise simulation within the RTS genre, or rather a RTS that has sim-leaning tendencies. Shooting a tank doesn't drop its health points, rounds need to penetrate. The armor values and penetration values are modeled in this game. Crew vehicles are also simulated. You can track tanks, you can disable guns, jam turrets, and so on. The game has a surprising amount of detail modeled, and it really makes you pay attention. Even ammo amounts and ammo types are simulated. For example, here is us playing a campaign against the Soviet AI. They have rolled up along the riverbank in a KV, and we are having a hard time penetrating it. I redeploy a 75mm anti-aircraft gun that has high velocity AP rounds, and it starts hammering away to knock out the tank. Here's another example from before where that flame tank pushed up and I'm now in a flanking position in my own tank. You will see that I'm controlling this tank in first person, and I stop the advance of the enemy tank by knocking out its tracks. The other player has the ability to take his crew out and repair his tank so it can move again, but because of how exposed it is, I will knock it out. Even the small little details like an artillery piece shooting and having the ammo shells or empty casings piling up next to the gun is even modeled. So it's just, in general, it has a surprising amount of detail modeled. We started to touch up on this in the previous point. The game also offers a first-person shooting mode. I think it's fair to say that there is even more modeled than War Thunder in terms of the vehicles you can control. You can micro tanks, towed guns, and even infantry. This adds a lot of micro potential in the game. You can sit back and manage the AI, or in a pivotal moment, you can take control of a tank and make sure that the shots are being strategically placed to have an effect. This really elevates the gameplay. No more are you at the mercy of the AI that is bugging out or not making easy shots. You can control your own destiny. This allows for more ability to cooperate with players. One player can be microwaving the tanks, while another one is controlling the massive infantry to get things done. In general, I think this game has done something interesting, and as I mentioned earlier, this game is really flying under the radar. On our Discord community, it is pretty common for people to get on and to play with each other. If you are like me and grew up playing RTS games and sort of missed the genre, then you may find this interesting. Even just being a World War II enjoyer should be enough to get you to like this game because of the variety of the vehicles. The game breaks down into Call to Arms Ostfront and the Talivosta expansion pack if you want to play the Finland DLC. I would say the biggest thing holding this game back is just the general population. It's not possible to find random PvP matches at all hours of the day. The game is good, and if you have a reliable friend, then you should be able to play through the campaign or just do 1v1s versus each other. So with that, I would give this game a solid 4 out of 5 stars. The 1 star held back by the rather small population of the game, but because it is such a nice fresh take on the RTS genre, I think it deserves attention. While I have you here, I feel like I'm very much a critic and a contrarian maybe that wants to point things out even if it goes against the grain. So with that, I have always liked the idea of wanting to do video game reviews, and this was my first attempt of really doing it. So I hope you enjoyed the perspective. If you did, please consider subscribing. The channel is going to stay focused on flight sims, but if there is enough interest, I would like to occasionally bring up other games and highlight the ones that are going kind of under the radar. Let me know your reaction to this in the comments below, and let me know if you played the game and if you agreed with me. Thank you, and see you online.